been recovering from the injury and, just going through this 5 years of being on the sidelines?
Joe, I'm strong. I'm strong-minded, and you've got to be. So what other option had I got but to get back on my feet again and build myself back up? And I relished the opportunity to do so. And that's it. Here I am back. What's done is done. What's in the past is in the past. Now, we are here in the future, and the fight is booked, and I am incredibly encouraged and excited to grace the Octagon once again.
Well, we're incredibly excited to see you. Max, what are your thoughts on a guy like Conor being out for 5 years, having that brutal injury, while the entire time you've been very active?
It doesn't matter, I see a lot of people talking about it, but we're fighters, man. This is what we do. I can't wait, man. I'm looking forward to the best version of Conor.
Unfortunately for him, his opponent is a guy that's on the level in this fight in Max Holloway, which in turn makes the question more valid. Who do we see inside the Octagon? My thought is we see a Conor McGregor that's as focused and committed as he has ever been. I don't know if with the injuries and the time away and the weight gains and now the weight loss and all these things, if that Conor McGregor, even if he is more motivated than ever, is enough to beat a Max Holloway. Now, that's no prediction. I'm just saying. But also, you don't get better at something by not doing it.
Yeah.
That's just the case, right? So you can train as hard as you want, but at the end of the day, it's still been about 4 or 5 years.
Conor McGregor is fighting at 170, your weight class, against Max Holloway. Do you think he can beat Max at 170?
No, I think Max gonna win. I'm super fan of Max Holloway, but he fighting more, McGregor is 5 years without fight, so I don't think he's gonna beat Max Holloway.
Even though they're fighting at 170 and Max has never gone there?
I don't think so. I think
Conor McGregor making his return. What was your reaction when that was announced?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Big name for our sports, and but he have tough opponents. Max Holloway against Conor. I think Max can.
Obviously, he's going up against Max Holloway in a great fight. How do you see that matchup between those two?
Personally, I think because it's at welterweight, I see Conor knocking him out. Like, everyone's counting Conor out and thinks that Max is going to win. If it goes to the later rounds, yeah, Max definitely probably start piecing him up on the feet because he's got that cardio and the volume, but the fact that it's at welterweight, I think, favours Conor because Charles made Max look small at lightweight. So imagine how big Conor's going to look compared to him at welterweight.
Do lay a glove on me. I'm going to laugh in your face. It's another world here against me, and it's another world at this weight. I'm going to come out of this bout unscathed and in all glory.
We talk about ancestors, we talk about warriors, bro. I'm a Hawaiian warrior, brother. I'm going to touch your face over and over again, brother. I already know this, brother.
Joe, Max is my child,
brother. Welcome to the Mystic Max era, brother. Welcome back.
Excuses, welcome
back.
Max is
Max is here. Return of the Max, July 11th. A bunch of gloves is gonna get laid on that pretty face, brother. Keep it clean for me.
I'm gonna box his ears off my hands down. Max, I'm gonna box you down with my hands down.
We saw the last time what happened that you didn't boxing. Ain't boxing.
Anyway, Joe, quiet.
Come on.
Joe, I'm gonna come out of this fight unscathed.
Ilya Topuria, complete aura loss. Marab, complete aura loss. And I actually feel like we are living in the timeline where Conor McGregor comes back at UFC 329 and KOs Max Holloway, okay? When I talk about the matchup, I'm not just talking about, dude, Conor McGregor is a better striker than Max Holloway. I feel like, overall, he kind of is. But listen, bro. Looking at the matchup, right? Obviously, there is a lot of question marks. There's a lot of things we don't know because we haven't seen Conor McGregor in the UFC Octagon for 5 years. I totally understand that. I do not look at this betting line and go, these people are idiots. They should be picking McGregor. I'm not saying that, okay? I understand why McGregor is a massive underdog, but just look at the style matchup of the fight and let's walk with me here and let's say Conor McGregor shows up prepared, fully not injured, ready to take this fight. We've seen from the Michael Chandler fight that, back in the day, it used to be McGregor will just show up regardless. Even if he's injured, whatever it is, he will show up. Now he's not taking that risk anymore, right? So let's say he shows up to this fight. He is healthy. He's prepared. 4 or 5 rounds against Max Holloway at 170, which I think favors Conor McGregor. This is what I see happening.
Combat sports has witnessed countless massive showdowns through the years. But when Conor McGregor and Max Holloway are mentioned in the same breath as opponents, that particular pairing divides supporters straight down the center. And that's remained true since the fight was first confirmed. Head into any training facility, browse through any comments thread, take a seat at any bar where a couple of MMA diehards happen to be debating, and you'll notice people choosing sides as though everything hinges on it. Here's what makes this pairing feel different from the usual bouts. McGregor carries the sort of knockout power and title-holding history that made him a household name to begin with, well before casual viewers had any clue what terms like the cage or tap-out even meant. Factor in his tactical sharpness too, the ability to study an opponent's timing and lie in wait for that perfect window to attack, and you've got someone who's proven repeatedly he can finish things with one single exchange. 3 seconds flat. That's occasionally been the entire fight. Numerous veteran followers examine the track record, those highlight clips, and the finishes still being shared years afterward, and they believe he's got another signature victory waiting inside him. On the flip side, there's the opposing camp, and their argument carries weight too, real weight. Holloway simply doesn't slow down. He never hesitates. The guy continues pushing forward round after round, grinding down whoever's across from him through relentless output and a tempo that feels almost cruel to expect from another person. He lands more strikes per round than nearly any fighter in the sport's history, all while hardly appearing winded. Those doubting McGregor's odds highlight precisely that trend. Is it realistic for a fighter celebrated for quick, violent finishes to survive a full 25 minutes against non-stop pressure from a man whose whole career has centered on wearing rivals down instead of ending them fast? So right now, consensus simply doesn't exist, and honestly, that lack of agreement is part of the reason this bout has become so gripping to follow. Some anticipate a decisive knockout landing within the opening 2 rounds. Others foresee a lengthy, grueling decision that examines both competitors' resolve just as much as their skill set. Plenty of supporters, if they're truly honest, can't even pinpoint anymore exactly what they're watching for. The build-up and tension heading toward fight night, the reputations at stake, or purely who remains upright when the closing bell sounds. What complicates this entire discussion further is that neither side's case rests on hope alone. They're both grounded in genuine proof. Nobody's inventing these positions out of nowhere. McGregor's supporters can reference a real pact with rivals who never anticipated the finish arriving. Holloway's supporters can reference bout after bout where he flatly declined to disappear, regardless of what he faced early on. That kind of resilience is uncommon in this sport, where the majority of competitors eventually buckle beneath sustained pressure. So when fans clash over this matchup, they aren't truly arguing about mere preferences, they're really contrasting two fundamentally distinct approaches to victory and debating which one proves stronger when it matters most.
You know, I think Conor McGregor has... For Conor McGregor, it's in the opponents. Because Conor McGregor, when he fights people that aren't the elite of the elite, he still looks like a world beater. Because when he fought Donald Cowboy Cerrone, right before he went to the Dustin Poirier fight 2 and 3, he beat him in like a minute, right? He's fighting the most elite fighters in the world. So when you say that, how much slippage was there? So when he loses to Dustin Poirier in Abu Dhabi, right? That was 7 years past the first fight. You're obviously both going to be better. Dustin just so happened to be a better mixed martial artist at that point in their careers. Second time they fought, Dustin's piecing him up again, but then he breaks his leg. But when he fights people that aren't on the level.
One prominent figure firmly backing McGregor is Georges St-Pierre, the ex-2 division UFC title holder whose perspective genuinely matters in this world, partly because generosity with praise has never been his style. But St-Pierre isn't referencing striking or grappling when he builds his case. He's referencing something that extends well beyond the fight itself. In St-Pierre's assessment, McGregor's influence stretches far outside the octagon, further than nearly anyone else in combat sports has managed to reach with their name. Most competitors, even the elite ones, remain boxed within their sport. Their names carry weight among fans, certainly, but rarely break through into broader pop culture the way film icons or recording artists do. McGregor shattered that pattern entirely. He didn't merely rack up wins. He transformed MMA into something that people who'd never watched a single fight suddenly found themselves invested in, discussing, and showing up to watch. That's the point St-Pierre repeatedly circles back to whenever McGregor's legacy comes up. There's a gap, he insists, between earning respect within a sport and gaining recognition beyond it. Countless champions achieve achieve the former. Practically nobody achieves the latter. McGregor, as Saint-Pierre sees it, stands among the small handful who accomplished both simultaneously and did so at a level the sport had never quite witnessed before his arrival. Individuals who couldn't identify a single other UFC competitor. People who've truthfully never watched an entire event still recognize exactly who Conor McGregor is. That sort of mainstream crossover isn't accidental, Saint-Pierre notes, and it's far from common. You could count the fighters who've achieved it on one hand. It's worth pausing on that thought, since Saint-Pierre himself has hardly been a stranger to elite-level achievement. He's gone up against top-tier competition, claimed belts in 2 separate weight classes, and established a reputation that would define most careers all by itself. And still, he draws a firm boundary between that brand of respect, the type built purely within the sport, and the kind of cultural reach McGregor achieved. Coming from someone with Saint-Pierre's background, that's far from a minor observation.
In a certain way. If I can put another one, I would say Conor McGregor, because he brought the sport to a different level.
Yeah.
Of in terms of
notoriety, people know.
Yeah, notoriety. Like, he's bigger than the sport.
Yeah.
There's the martial arts circle, the sport circle, and then something that englobed that, the entertainment circle, and he's in. He broke through the entertainment circle, and not a lot of athletes have done that.
It's because most of the fights create an emotion. Like, Conor was the best also at because he was very charismatic.
Yes,
like he used to create an emotion out of it. You know, you could look at Conor and be like, I don't care. It's either you love him, you want to see him win, or you want to see him lose. But behind that, he was able to back it up because he was like a sniper with that left hand. Like,
yes,
boom.
Like when he knocked out Eddie Alvarez, you know, he was like, and he goes, ba, 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 ba. And I was like, dude, like, just beautiful tech, like I said, for me. And then he gets on the mic, he goes, woo, Joe. It's like, of course, it's